Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. It is the 3rd of September 2025. This is the main news on Camnet TV, coming to you live on Topstar channel 106 on Kenstream app. We are also streaming live on Facebook at Camnet TV, as well as on our YouTube channel Camnet TV. Here are the headlines in our news tonight. MACHUU residents in LIMULUNGA district decry long walks of over 20 kilometers to access to clean water. YAMBA MALANJI convicted on corruption charges. MUFULIRA records increase in malaria cases amid mosquito surge. In international news, UN peacekeeping operations face funding pressure amid US aid cuts. And in sports news, CHIPOLOPOLO intensified training ahead of Morocco showdown. I will be back with the details shortly after this break. Don't go away.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
With the main news, my name is Sylvia Zulu. Lusaka Acting Chief President Magistrate Irene Wishimanga has convicted former Secretary to the Treasury Fredson Yamba and former Foreign Affairs Minister John Malanji on corruption-related charges. Mr. Yamba was found guilty on 2 counts of willful failing to follow laid-down procedures in the transfer of 108 million kwacha intended for the purchase of Zambian properties in Turkey between 2020 and 2021. The court ruled that the transaction had neither parliamentary approval nor a budget line in the 2021 Appropriation Act, rendering the transfer unlawful. Meanwhile, Mr. Malanji was convicted on 7 counts of acquiring properties deemed to be proceeds of crime, including 2 helicopters and purchased from South African aviation companies using funds originally allocated for a Zambian chancery in Turkey. However, he was acquitted on 1 count relating to the Gibson Royal Hotel in Kitwe after the count established the property was acquired through a loan prior to the indictment period. Magistrate Wishimanga ruled that Mr. Malanji failed to provide legitimate records for the transactions, reinforcing the court's finding that the properties were illicitly obtained. Sentencing has been reserved to Thursday, following submissions from defense lawyers seeking non-custodial sentences. The defense argued that Mr. Yamba acted on behalf of the government and that Mr. Malanji is a first-time offender. The case stems from allegations that between January 1st, 2020 and August 31st, 2021, Mr. Yamba authorized the irregular transfer of 160 million kwacha to Zambia's mission account in Turkey, bypassing legal protocols, while Mr. Malanji allegedly diverted part of the funds to acquire helicopters and other properties. Residents of MACHUU in LIMULUNGA district, Western Province, are appealing to the government to install hand pumps or boreholes in the area, citing long distances of up to 20 kilometers to access safe drinking water. Nyambe Sitali, a local resident, explains that villagers are forced to walk extensive distances, delayed to fetch clean water, a task that is particularly burdensome for women and other vulnerable members of the community. Mr. Stali further highlighted that some of the water sources have dried up due to the effects of climate change, exacerbating the challenges faced by residents in accessing reliable water supplies. Meanwhile, efforts to get a comment from the LIMULUNGA local authority were unsuccessful as the official was unavailable at the time of broadcast. We have the details in the following report.
Sustainable Development Goal number 6 focuses on ensuring access to clean water and sanitation for all. And residents of MACHUU area in Limunga district are struggling to access clean and safe drinking water as they are still depends on the dug up boreholes. Speaking to Camnet News in MACHUU area in Limunga district, YAMBA study says the water they are drinking is not clean and safe. Where they are drawing water, there are frogs.
Haluna mezi alunyandisa miani bulela chwana lusapila bupilo bwali bakuka mezi kuyepa mwamisima mwale kona kuli kuzwafa mubufa kufita kwa tasiruli kwale 6 feet kona kufumana mezi konji kuyepanga kama focholo kona kuilukupa ulufateni kuli bakone kulutalima mihape nibutata lwa bufumana kwane kula spatela.
Other residents echoed similar concerns, citing outbreaks of diseases, and they are appealing to government to put up some boreholes in the area as the old hand pump is down.
Lukupa hulu muso kane kula mezi lunwa mezi amasila mukunyele alimbotwe nikulute alimbotwe aluinzi kwanu lufoluka mezi kimu kwa kikupakelanga amuzu hakonje kwa 5 kamba kwa 04 kono mezi hao mana abe kuli muliye hakuli mufita kwa lisima kwa 8 mimi mukufumana kulisiliba so mile konje kulibe api mwenye kwa 12 to 13 mezi hao kuna mkaka twene lukupa hulu kwa muso kuli lukupa kwa tini michokocho lukupa kwa tini lipompi kama neke mabohos mane baruti seze mwa MACHUU kakuli mushe mwana mwene mauli na mwimbana kasivili vanyanda mane mezi alunwi mezi akweza kuli mwake mezi chwana ngi watu baidhi mabolozi kono luka mezi kama lindela
muso kutalimela mezi elunwa abonala kuli mezi elunwa kama sila michokocho abaskai famuzi ni muzi kono baize kuli fale mchokocho wakuli lunabamu luimezwi lukamezi kwa hule nako yalitabula ifitachwana lukamezi lunwa mezi nilimboto chene lukupa kwa muso kula abalutalime luli balushela kwa teni mangeke balwekireze michokocho ebe mingata kutuafate.
A comment from LIMULUNGA local authority felt fatal by press time. Kelvin Kabira Msebo, Camnet News in Limunga district, Western Province.
The Civil Society for Poverty Reduction, CSPR, has called for urgent and comprehensive reforms within the Food Reserve Agency, FRA, to address persistent inefficiencies in maize marketing that continued to disadvantage smallholder farmers. CSPR says while it welcomes President Hakainde Hichileme's directive to urgently resolve issues such as the shortage of grain bags, delayed payments and limited depots, these measures must be accompanied by deeper institutional reforms for the FRA to effectively support agriculture transformation. CSPR Executive Director Isabel Mukelebai says FRA under its statutory mandate is expected to ensure national food security and provide a structured market for maize and other staple crops. However, she observed that the agency's current operational model has often created bottlenecks, including procurement delays, inconsistent payment timelines, and exposure to political interference, which, if anything, erode the economic benefits that should accrue to farmers. The organization has since urged FRA to ensure timely provision of grain bags, faster payment disbursements, and transparent communication channels with farmers.
Following the strong performance of the agriculture sector this year, in which we did see about 3.6 million metric tons of maize being produced by smallholder farmers, we are now very concerned about the persistent inefficiencies within Zambia's maize marketing operations, particularly the way that this is being facilitated by the Food Reserve Agency. We think that current inefficiencies continue to disadvantage small-scale farmers. We are aware that more recently the head of state did give a directive to FRA to urgently resolve maize purchase bottlenecks from small-scale farmers, particularly related to the availability of packing sacks and also notable delays in terms of payments to small-scale farmers who are supplying this maize to them. Our field check also shows that there are in some cases some limited buying depots, and it's important that as an organization we stress that even though some corrective measures might have been effected, they must be accompanied by comprehensive institutional reforms if the Food Reserve Agency is to deliver on its intended mandate and meaningfully support Zambia's agriculture transformation agenda. When we look at the Food Reserve Agency Act, we are very, very clear that the agency is tasked with ensuring national food security and providing a structured market for staple crops like maize. However, our assessment of its current operational model falls short of, supporting inclusive growth in maize production.
MUFULIRA district and the Copperbelt province has reported a rise in malaria cases according to health officials. District Health Director Dr. Abel Hamonga has attributed the increase to a surge in mosquito populations. Dr. Hamonga notes that regrettably MUFULIRA was not included in this year's phase of the Ministry of Health nationwide indoor residue spraying IRA's campaign. He adds that the district is exploring extensive measures to curb the spread of malaria. In response, the district health office has engaged Mopani Copper Mines to seek assistance with indoor spraying initiatives aimed at reducing malaria transmission within the community. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health has announced that its nationwide RS exercise is set to begin on September 15, 2025, targeting 30 districts across Zambia. The campaign aims to strengthen malaria prevention efforts and protect vulnerable populations from the disease.
IRS, indoor residue spray, as the province has kicked the program of spraying our houses, but it's done in phases. So 3 districts have started doing that. Phase 1, phase 2 will be done under our district. Malaria is #1 killer in Africa, not only just in Zambia but in Africa. So we've got a rising number of cases of malaria cases in the district. So in the interim, as we are waiting for the phase 2 to kick on, we've engaged Mopan to come on board to help us spray our households so that we prevent the spread of malaria.
The Ministry of Education has reported major progress in the rollout of the Zambia Education Enhancement Project, ZEEP, and the Zambia Enhancing Early Learning ZEEU initiative, with more than 560 new educational facilities under construction across the country. The developments are part of the government's broader effort to expand access to quality education and invest in human capital. Minister of Education Douglas Yakalima said under the ZEEP, 180 out of 120 targeted secondary schools are currently being built in over 70 districts, covering all the 10 provinces. He says the 2 remaining schools are expected to break ground soon. The expansion aims to reduce barriers to secondary education by ensuring that learners are underdeserved areas have schools within the reach. ZEEL is also advancing the establishment of 440 early childhood education hubs and satellite centers to cater to children aged 3 to 6 years. Community leaders and education stakeholders have welcomed the initiatives, noting that the new schools will ease The burden of long travel distances for learners help curb school dropouts and improve literacy levels in previously underdeserved areas.
Schools is happening everywhere. We had 120 schools which were under World Bank. They are now at different stages, but particularly the Copper Belt, you'll find that they've reached an advanced stage, right? Which is part of the package itself that you can see. And what we did was that there are those 82 secondary schools which are dotted in a few provinces. So what we did in order to balance off, we made sure that those who had maybe 12, for example, certain provinces had 12 previously, we only gave them 8 or 10 in order for them to have 22. Copper Belt we had, I think 0, we gave them 15. Northwestern and Western provinces we had 0, we gave them 22, 21. So we are doing the balancing equation. In the Northern, I think they were about 18, we gave them some more in order for them to be at 22 and what. So that is how we share the cake equitably for the whole country, because we believe that it is one Zambia, one nation, one Zambia, one child, one Zambia, one school, one Zambia, name it, one teacher, and the teacher can be literally everywhere in this country.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Gift Siavalo has handed over a newly constructed palace to Chief Nzamene of Luangana constituents in Chipata, marking a milestone in the use of the Constituents Development Fund (CDF) to strengthen traditional leadership. The palace has been described as not only a residence but also a center of governance, culture preservance, and community dignity. Mr. Sialubalo also commissioned several community projects in Malamba constituents, Mambo district, and under the 2023-2024 CDF cycle. These included 8 infrastructure developments, 41 boreholes drilled under the climate resilient funding component, as well as classroom blocks, maternity annexes, sanitation facilities, and feeder roads. The projects are part of government's commitment to improving livelihoods at the grassroots. The minister further disbursed grants and launched to 2025 beneficiaries, amounting to 6.1 million kwacha.
Your Royal Highness, you are a seasoned leader, very, very seasoned, more than any other leader here. In the dynamics of leadership. Where we go wrong, Your Royal Highness, we are your children, chorus. Let us have a round table discussion so that we shape the future of the people we lead. And Your Royal Highness has an agenda of making a big or greater difference for the people of Zambia.
Akuta president okunishisha kuti mamoyo ya vantu muno mzambia yachinje avari pansi awereko palulu kuti umphawi usile muno mzambia ndiye kufuna kwa president.
Even those Royal Highnesses who haven't yet received such a gift in the name of a palace, time is coming. Let us pray for this new Dawn administration. We mean well. We are going to tackle all the palaces to say within Luangeni there are some other challenging issues yet to be attended to. Rome was not built in a day, but in the past 4 years, I think the direction has been shown by the new Dawn administration to say, indeed we mean well, and Zambia will change within 10 years. There will be a very big difference, where even those who say they are blind, they will see.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
MUFULIRA District Commissioner Evaristo Chilumba has expressed satisfaction with the rapid progress of the MUFULIRA Ndore Road construction, describing the work as efficient and on track for timely completion. Following a site inspection, Mr. Chilumba praised the constructor for their commitment and emphasized the road's strategic importance, noting that it will benefit not only the districts of MUFULIRA and Dola, but also enhance connectivity for the nation as a whole. The district commissioner highlighted that the 61-kilometer road will significantly reduce travel time for MUFULIRA residents who previously had to take the longer route via Kitwe to reach Ndola. The construction of the Ndola-MUFULIRA road alongside the development of the Sakanya border post and its access road commenced in October 2024. The project is being implemented through a public-private partnership PPP model. Funded at a total cost of $54.4 million United States dollars, the project is expected to improve trade, mobility, and regional connectivity, contributing to broader economic growth in the Copperbelt province and beyond.
One, when this road is done and it's operational, definitely it will be very easy for the people of MUFULIRA as well as Ndola to use this road. It will be shorter. One, we talk about tear and wear of vehicles that are used. We talk about the cost of fuel. Everything will come to a minimal cost when this road is, currently we are using the other road. Pass through, when you want to go to Ndola, we pass through Kitwe. Waste of time in the first place. Also the road is costly, the journey is costly, but when that is done, that will be a thing of the past. It will be water on the bridge. It will be maybe 40 minutes from here to Ndola. We are done. So I think that is a plus to us, and a plus to MUFULIRA, a plus to the government, a plus especially to our president, who has been so much ahead of this. Yes.
40-year-old Burundian refugee has been convicted by the Lusaka Magistrate Court for his role in a sophisticated identity fraud syndicate. Immigration Chief Public Relations Officer Martin Shika confirmed that Jean Claudie Simbomano was sentenced on 1st September 2025 to 2 years imprisonment with hard labor for forgery and ordered to pay a fine of 30,000 kwacha or save an additional 9 months in prison, with both sentences running concurrently. Simbomana was apprehended on 1st August 2025 at a foreign embassy in Lusaka after presenting fraudulent documents. His arrest triggered a major operation that led to the seizure of 372 passports, a variety of forged documents, and the detention of 6 other suspects, including an assistant registration officer at the Ndola Passport Office linked to human trafficking and identity fraud. A third charge against Simbomana, cancelling his true national identity, has been scheduled for trial.
The Magistrate Court on 1st September 2025 convicted Jean-Claude Simbomana, 40, a Burundian refugee, for his role in a sophisticated identity fraud syndicate. Simbomana was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment with hard labor for forgery, contrary to sections 344A and 347 of the Penal Code Chapter 87 of the laws of Zambia. He was further ordered to pay a fine of 30,000 kwacha, or in default served 9 months simple imprisonment for engaging in business without a permit, contrary to sections 54 and 56(1) of the Immigration and Deportation Act No. 18 of 2010 of the laws of Zambia. Both sentences are to run concurrently. On the third charge of concealing true national identity, contrary to sections 52(2) and 56(1) of the Immigration and Deportation Act, Simbomana denied the charge, and the matter has been set for trial. He was jointly charged with 6 other suspects following his apprehension on 1st August 2025 at a foreign embassy in Lusaka, where he presented fraudulent documents. His apprehension triggered a major operation that resulted in the seizure of 372 passports, an assortment of forged documents, and the apprehension of additional suspects linked to human trafficking, forgery, and identity fraud. The remaining 6 suspects, including Mobanga Chipasha 35, an assistant registration officer at the Ndola Passport Office, will appear in court soon. This conviction brought the number of immigration-related convictions secured between 29th August and 2nd September 2025 to 69. Meanwhile, the Serenja Immigration Office on 29 August 2025 detained 9 Ethiopian nationals, 3 females and 6 males aged between 18 and 27 for illegal entry, along with 2 Tanzanian nationals, Mrisho Shaban 26 and Wilson Thomas 20, for aiding and abetting their unlawful entry into Zambia. The Department of Immigration remains steadfast in its mandate to facilitate and regulate migration in order to contribute to internal security and sustainable socio-economic development.
This is the main news on Camnet TV. We now take a sort of commercials. I will be back with some international stories as well as sports news. Keep watching, don't go away.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Are you looking for a reliable and efficient courier company with international standards? Then let UBZ Courier, your trusted partner in swift and secure deliveries, be your ultimate choice. Whether it's a small package or a hefty consignment, UBZ Courier handles it all, locally and internationally. Our modern call center ensures personalized attention for every client. For seamless deliveries within Zambia and beyond, trust UBZ Courier. Call us now on +260 763 062 680 or visit us at plot number 15 Mwapona Road, Woodlands, Lusaka, Zambia. UBZ Courier, a world-class brand that can be trusted.
Every Monday to Thursday afternoon, join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, midday news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days. In Forgotten Stories, we emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you so much for still being with us. In international news, United Nations peacekeeping missions are confronting significant financial challenges following recent budget cuts by the United States, a UN peacekeeping spokesperson said on Tuesday. The reductions could limit the mission's ability to protect civilians in conflict-affected countries, including South Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. Last week, U.S. President Donald Trump literally cancelled $4.9 billion United States dollars, including more than 800 million United States dollars earmarked for international peacekeeping operations. The U.S. is the largest financial contributor to UN peacekeeping, accounting for approximately 27% of the budget, ahead of China at 18.7% and Japan at 8%. The UN currently runs 11 active peacekeeping missions, including MINUSCA in the Central African Republic, UNMISCA in Southern Sudan, and MONUSCO in the DRC. Here is a roundup of international news.
United States budget cuts could limit United Nations peacekeeping missions' ability to protect civilians in countries like South Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo, a UN peacekeeping spokesperson said on Tuesday. US President Donald Trump last week cancelled $4.9 billion in foreign aid already approved by Congress. This includes more than $800 million dedicated to international peacekeeping operations. The US accounts for 27% of the UN peacekeeping budget, making it the largest financial contributor. Earlier this year, the White House proposed to eliminate Washington's contribution entirely for 2026, citing the alleged failures of certain missions. There are currently 11 active UN peacekeeping operations, including the MINUSCA in the Central African Republic and the MONUSCO in the DRC. UN member states are obligated to help finance these missions. Donald Trump has drastically reduced US foreign aid since he came back in office. In February, his administration voted to cut foreign aid contracts from the US Agency for International Development by more than 90%. The agency officially closed in July.
Winnie Katsue CG is on a mission of care. A dedicated nurse with Reach One Touch One Ministries, she travels deep into Uganda's mountains to reach elderly patients often forgotten. By Boda Boda motorcycle taxi she rides, then walks the rest.
Most of the parts are in hill areas where most of our seniors are staying in those hill places. I use a boda where it can reach, but if it can't, I stop it and I foot. So I foot to those places.
It's no easy feat, but Winnie is determined. In Uganda, growing old often means facing life without a pension, limited medical care and deep poverty. Winnie carries her metal case from home to home, providing a number of services, including checking blood pressure and glucose levels.
I do medical procedures like catheterizations, and I also check their vitals, especially blood pressure and blood glucose, in order to prevent complications. And I also check their hygiene and counsel them on diet.
Winnie washes up using rainwater collected in plastic tanks, the same source her patients rely on. For her, caring for Uganda's elderly isn't just a job, it's God's work.
I was called by God's love and serve, so it's my passionate for me to be a nurse, especially to take care of those elders who can't take care of themselves.
In just 15 years, sub-Saharan Africa's older population has surged by 50%, now at 67 million. The WHO projects that number will more than double to 163 by 2050. In a high-profile corruption crackdown in the Democratic Republic of Congo, a top court has sentenced former Justice Minister Constant Mutaba to 3 years of forced labor after convicting him of embezzling $19 million in public funds. The money was intended for a prison construction project in the country's north. On Tuesday, roads around the court in Kinshasa were barricaded and security forces deployed in anticipation of unrest. The court ruled that Mutaba acted with the intent of illicit enrichment and bypassed legal procedures. Mutaba, who resigned in June, had pleaded not guilty. His lawyer has called the verdict unjust. The former minister, a 2023 presidential candidate, once campaigned as an anti-corruption advocate, but his tenure was marked by controversy, including a proposal to introduce the death penalty for journalists reporting on Rwandan-backed rebels. While forced labor sentences in Congo are typically served in prison, it remains unclear if Mutaba will face the same fate. The case is seen as a key test in Congo's ongoing battle against deep-rooted corruption.
The Zambian national team Chipolopolo has intensified its preparations for Monday's crucial FIFA World Cup qualifier against Morocco Atlas Lions. Under the guidance of coach Abraham Grant, the team held a training session at the Levi Monawasa Stadium where they will all face off against Morocco. The squad is nearly complete with all players except Joseph Lideta, who is based in Italy and expected to join soon. Key players such as Leicester City's Patson Daka, Al Fasha FC's Fashion Sakala, and Maccabi Binel's Emmanuel Banda have already arrived at camp, indicating Coach Grant's intention to field a strong team. With the Atlas Lioness looking fierce, the Chipolopolo will need to bring their A game to secure a win. Well, that's it for our main news tonight. Here is a recap of the stories making headlines. MACHUU residents in LIMULUNGA district decay long walks of over 20 kilometers to access to clean water. YAMBA MALANJI convicted on corruption charges. MUFULIRA records increase in malaria cases amid mosquito surge. In international news, UN peacekeeping operations face funding pressure amid US aid cuts. And in sports news, Chipolopolo intensified training ahead of Morocco showdown. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day coming from the book of Matthew 1 verse 21. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Good night and God bless you all. Remember, you have been catching us live on Top Star channel 106 on 10th Stream. We are also streaming live on Facebook at Camnet TV, as well as on our YouTube channel, Camnet TV. Good night.